Hey yo, what's up everybody, it's Zen JJ. Today I'm coming back a video basically talking about a new network and of course a chance for you to basically generate some passive income in the cryptocurrency space. And of course this over here will really require almost no technical knowledge or programming knowledge to basically set this up. And of course I have a way to do that. And of course if let's say I'm gonna basically compare to you if let's say you're gonna do it on the normal way and of course with the easy UI way itself. And of course I will say in this video itself, disclaimer, yes, I'm affiliated with some of the program that I'm basically going to mention, and of course I am not paid to do a Pokt Network promotion or sponsor video. It's just basically me into the ecosystem and of course me putting some money in the game, and of course from there introducing you guys to this opportunity. And of course if let's say you're interested in this, kindly hit the subscribe button, turn on post notification and leave a thumbs up to this video. And of course without further ado, we are going to jump into the video basically talking about what is this Pokt Network. So over here for Pokt Network itself, I'm going to use my own words to describe it from what I know. Basically Pokt Network itself is a relay protocol, basically a RPC, a remote procedure call. For those who know, if let's say you're a programmer, a developer, you might need to use this RPC to basically call on chains, and after that from there execute like your smart contract, and of course basically interacting with your website or maybe some web interface with the network itself. And of course to do that itself, you will need to have some sort of like remote access or basically protocol to call on, and after that from there using the Pokt Network itself you can basically use it. And of course from there you can call contracts, I mean like call RPC, basically like those, I don't know, the bunch of codes that you want to interact with your site towards the blockchain or the apps itself. Basically you will just interact around with the network itself. So for Pokt Network itself, we're gonna basically look at the price and everything. So over here you can see that the Pokt Network itself is basically priced at 0.06, around 6 cents as of today. And of course we can see that the price itself is dumping and dumping and dumping, but regardless of what, I basically bought my Pokt at basically 8 cents previously. And of course I would say the network itself, we can see that this over here accelerating the future of Web3 infrastructure. So over here they are basically gonna do it decentralization, basically a decentralized way, instead of using like infra. If I'm not wrong, infra itself, they are providing like a similar thing, basically a RPC call, and after that from there there's a free plan, there's a paid plan, and many more. If let's say, I mean that plan itself is kind of centralized, built by a company. And of course over here Pokt itself is trying to make a decentralized place to basically accelerate this, so there won't be any censorship involved if let's say it is a decentralized application. And of course if let's say it is a centralized one, basically they can block some, basically they can block block some sort of like company or whatever it is, the entity they do not want you to basically use the request or whatsoever, they can block it. So over here this is decentralized. So over here we scroll down itself, we can see that how does the protocol work, and after that I basically watch the video. If you want you can watch it. So over here passes value directly to the node operator. So over here you run the node itself, you'll get rewarded, and of course for exchanging the data itself. If you want you can just view the video here, and after that from there over here I would say that to use this itself, you are technically for this to be used itself is for developers who are using this for the RPC. And after that from there, if let's say node runner itself, you are providing resources towards them, and after that developers can do their job. And of course from there you might be thinking, is this network even used or whatsoever? We are going to look at the network itself, just going to show you. So over here this is the Pokt Watch scan itself. Over here you can see the relays that has happened is basically 1.1 billion, and of course you can see every block itself there's almost like a lot of relays going on. How many number is that? I believe in millions. So 1 million relays has been happening, and of course within this relay itself, whoever has been relaying the data, they will get rewarded. And of course they also have the validator system, which can be a proposal, and after that from there when you propose a block or whatsoever, you will get rewarded as well. So over here we're gonna basically talk about how much money do you need to start running this Pokt Node. So we here look at the rewards first. The rewards on staking rewards is shown as run a service node. Basically the risk itself is moderate, the complexity is hard, and of course please do not be alarmed by this word hard itself, because I have another solution which has been recently supported, and after that from there this over here will be easy. It's easy to set up. And of course over here the reward itself, looking at it, they are saying the annualized reward is basically 24%, and of course the adjusted reward is 13%, and of course basically the minimum token to lock up, basically they said is 15.3. And of course, if you, let's say you stake a token to run a validator, you will need to have you have to understand this. If you want to unstake the token, it will take you 21 days to unlock, and after that basically the cooldown period. So if let's say you are going to, you have to think properly before you want to basically run a node or not. And after that, I would say the staking ratio itself, almost 40% of the coin has been staked, and after that the market cap is this, and after that the staking market cap is this. So yeah, without further ado, we are gonna basically jump into the installation. So this over here is their official site to basically run a node, and over here you can see that the environment setup, you can see the hardware requirement is 4G CPU, and after that from there 16 gig of RAM, and after that I would say around 400 worth of this, I would say NVMe or SSD would be preferable. And after that over here they did not mention anything, so I would say they still allow you to use the HDD. And of course, you scroll down itself, you need to have the software, three ways to install you to run the Pokt Node itself, many more like command lines. And after that from there you'll be some of you guys might be already turned off by all this type of command line, and after that from there you have zero knowledge, but you want to do something with your computer or something like that, and after that from there you want to generate some passive income in the crypto space. But of course, with all of this wording, all of this command line, and after that so on and so forth, you might be thinking, what is this? I do not understand this. I have not used Linux before. And over here, if you look at this, okay, the GitHub itself, okay, everything over here is basically the command for the Pokt network itself. And after that, to install it, first you will need to basically do the environment setup with all of this command line, which some of you guys are thinking like, okay, just a copy paste. But of course, when you copy paste itself, it might not go exactly the way that is described because of like new updates of the Ubuntu or maybe your Linux server or something like that. So over here, the solution to do it, I would say using DAppNode itself is the easiest way to power a Web3. So if you want to buy a DAppNode itself using my link down below or my promo code to get a 25 euro off, you can use it. And after that from there, they are also running some promotion. Basically, if let's say you buy one of these DAppNode itself, you can either get the Hopper Special Edition, if not the Gnosis chain. Basically, they'll give you 4 Gnosis for free to run it on the i7 that they provided. And after that over here, they also have this. Over here, the comparison is basically the gigabyte, 32 and 64. So I would recommend, if let's say you're gonna run an Ethereum node, Ethereum staker or whatsoever, just get the 64 gig of RAM. They will be very good for you. And after that, on top of that, you still can run other application. So over here, I'm just gonna show you the UI itself. So for my case, I'm running like tons of blockchain, and after that from here you can see the system itself. You can see 32 gig itself is already almost used up, so I basically purchased a 64 gig of RAM to basically upgrade it. And after that from there, basically the disk space itself is 4 terabyte. And of course, running all of these nodes itself, you can see the Git itself is taking 700 GB, and after that the Pokt itself is taking around 434 gigabytes. So over here, as they mentioned, you need to have 200 GB of space. I would say it is already not sufficient, it is not updated. So I would say as many terabyte as you can to basically run the node itself. If let's say you're going to use the app itself, it is super easy to install using the app itself. A few clicks and you're ready to go. And of course, I'm going to show you some tools later on. So right now, without further ado, we're going to basically jump into the setup process. So for you guys, if let's say you want to get started with this itself, I would say the minimum stake requirement is 15.1k. So over here we can see the 15.1k. This is the amount that you need to get started, but of course recommend you to get additional 50 more. So around $1,000, almost $1,000 to run the node itself. You will be for the staking itself, the staking requirement. And of course, to get this Pokt token itself, I highly recommend Bybit for you to purchase it. So over here, Bybit supports this over here, and after that, I would say you can get it from Bybit, which is one of the most reputable platform out there. And of course, for Bybit itself, if let's say you're in Singapore or let's say some restricted country, you're not able to buy it. But of course, I would say Bybit itself, you can use it because as of now, they are having the spot trading fees with 0%. So if you want to buy using your US Tether itself, you are going to pay 0 fees. And after that, I would say it's gonna be I mean, like for 10k purchase, I mean like maybe a 1k purchase, it might not seem a lot, but of course whatever you can save, just save. And after that, from there, I would say Bybit itself, they're offering this 0% spot trading. If you want, just get it on over there. And of course, without further ado, if let's say you already purchased your DAppNode itself, it's already here, you already went back to your UI. So the first thing you want to go is to basically to the DApp store, click on it, and after that over here, click on the Pokt Node. And after that, from there, once when you're installing the Pokt Node itself, you will be required to basically download the wallet. So I'm going to show it to you. So over here, the wallet itself, just click on it, and after that, from there, you can just basically create a seed phrase, and after that, from there, you can basically create it, and after that, from there, enter your password. So I'm just going to do a test 1 2 3 test 1 2 3 minimum requirement. Okay, so I'm going to do testing So over here, once you have created this over here, you will basically be required to download this key store JSON itself. Make sure the password itself you remember it, and of course on DAppNode itself, do not put a $sign on the symbol itself, because when you put a $sign itself, the code will not execute it, and after that it will run to an error. So from my understanding, don't put a $sign. And after that, when you download this key store itself, store it properly, and after that from there you just head back to your DAppNode itself. When you want to install it, they're gonna ask you to enter your key store file, and after that from there enter the password, and everything is done. You basically need to wait for it to start singing, and after that when it is singing itself, I would say singing probably will take up to 8 to even like 2 days, depending on how fast of your network is. So over here we can see that the volume itself is 400 gigabyte, and after that from there I would say normally for this to sync up itself, it will take roughly around, for my case, around 12 hours or something like that. If let's say you are fast on internet, maybe 8 hours or maybe less than that, and of course it really is depending on the network that you have. And after that from there, once you have installed it itself, basically just click on the UI itself, you'll be redirected to this page itself called the Pokt Validator, and over here is the interface that is going to be super easy to use. And after that, once your block is fully synced itself, you will want to basically do a check over here. So over here, what you want to check is over here, before you get started on syncing itself, click on this Explorer, and after that from there let it load. And yeah, basically you will see your current block height over here. For my case is this number, and after that from there wait for the block to load, and after that when it loads itself, double check the number itself, the block height. So over here you can see the block height itself is similar over here, and after that means you are on the latest block. So once you're on the later block itself, you will basically see your address when you import your JSON file or whatsoever. So over here normally you will see a 0 amount, and after that if let's say you want to start staking on DAppNode itself, you need to send the funds to your address. Basically the address itself is from the wallet that you created just now, and after that from there with the passphrase and everything, keep the keys.json file properly in a cold storage or something like that. And after that from there, yeah, just send your funds over here from Bybit, and after that from there wait for it to process. So for my case, I would say around 15,150 worth of this Pokt token will be sufficient, because every time when you are doing a validating or whatsoever, doing proofs or something like that, you will be required to send some tokens. So I'm just gonna show you what do I mean by that. So over here we have the Pokt watch itself. I would say this tool itself is recommended. Basically Pokt.watch to basically head over to this interface, and after that enter your address. You will be required, you will be seen, you'll be directed to this page if let's say you enter your address. So for my case, I'm just going to show it to you why do you need like additional Pokt token. Basically they have implemented this rule about this fee recipient to basically help with the inflation. So over here the transaction fee itself, every time we do a transaction, it is going to cost you 0.01 Pokt token, and after that from there, that's why you need to have additional token on your address itself. And after that from there, we can see that there's some transaction history going on, basically proof, claim, and after the restake over here, proof, claim, and after over here this is the proof to submit that you have relayed this, and this is 0.01. and after that over here the claim itself will also take up a little bit of fees, and after that eventually whatever you have relayed, you're getting rewarded. And after that over here, this is a proof for them to basically send to the network to prove that you already submitted the block, and after the signature and everything. So this is the system inside. So every transaction it does, it will take 0.01 Pokt token, and after that over here storing a little bit worth of Pokt itself will be better, because it will be filled with the to be filling transaction through and through back and forth on the network itself. So over here this proof and claim itself is automated. You do not need to accept or do anything, because you already put your JSON file, the key store file, onto the Pokt network on DAppNode, and after that from there, once it's done, you are basically good to go after fully sync, and after that from there validating. So over here I would say from this part itself, you will see that okay, so the claim, the proof, how do I like check it, how do I have more resources to it? Basically over here the Pokt.tools itself, on the website itself, you will see that on the homepage itself, you will see over here enter your node ID. Basically the node ID is your address. So I already entered mine, so I'm just going to show it to you how does it work. So over here we have some relay test going on, but of course it is not working for DApp because the simulation is not enabled. But of course the ping test is the most important one. So if you click on ping test itself, you will see that basically your chain will be your URL will be ping, and after that from there they are testing the connectivity towards it, and after that from there you can see they send 10 ping, and after that from here it is a success. And of course this is the latency, just ignore it. But of course yeah, basically the lower the number the better. And of course if you head back to this page itself, once you click on the nodes over here, you can see that I have around 831 relay that is pending, and of course for this relay pending 831 relays happening. So which is it? Basically over here I have Ethereum testnet running, and after that from there there's 831 relays happening, and of course the relay rates itself. So this over here is amount of poke. So one relay itself is gonna cost, I mean you'll get rewarded for this amount of poke. So basically this amount times this amount equals to this total amount, and after that from there it is still being confirmed. And after that you can see that previously I have some relay ongoing, so I've started the node on the 27 or 26, unsure about that, but of course you can see that they support quite a lot of chain, not only Ethereum. So what you need to do next over here is head over to this page. Normally you will see this thing being enabled first if let's say you are installing on a fresh DApp itself. DAppNode over here you might want to install the Ethereum blockchain, and after that for my case I just install almost everything over here. Still Avalanche is still singing, so over here enable everything, and after that from there I would say you might be thinking, why do you want to install so many chain? Because the more chain that you have enabled itself, the more relays it can basically process. So over here there might be like some chain Gnosis, and after Ethereum, and of course Ethereum Golly, the testnet, and of course Gnosis chain again. So over here these are all of the chain that I have already enabled, and after that I have already staked. So when you enter the amount 15100, you just select on whatever chain that is already done. So for my suggestion itself, if let's say you gotten the largest DAppNode itself, you have 4TB of space, 64GB of RAM, that will be sufficient. You can almost run all of the nodes. So for my case I already installed the Ropsten, Ringkibi, basically another Ethereum testnet, and after that the Git GT, and after that the Golly, another testnet. So over here I have already downloaded quite a lot of packages. Over here I'm just going to show it to you. Yeah, basically I've downloaded Git, Ethereum testnet, another Ethereum, this is Gnosis, and after that another 2 Ethereum testnet, and after that many more over here. And of course for this wiki itself there's some issues that you need to take note of. If let's say you're gonna install it, just head over to the config file. Over here this is fine, it's just the Ropsten testnet itself. You need to do the configuration. Doing this itself over here, override terminal total difficulty, to basically prevent it from halting. And of course the full sync is, yeah, the sync mode is full. And after that this command over here is only for Ropsten. If let's say you're gonna install Ropsten itself, you need to have this override terminal total difficulty to this amount itself, because if let's say you do not have this input, basically the normal default input, your block will basically get stuck, and you are unable to fully sync this Ropsten testnet properly because of the merge that's happening. And after that from there DAppNode is not really supporting the Ropsten like frequently, not really updated. So I would say if you want to get it running with your Pocket Validator, to enable all of this and after that start relaying all of the data, you might want to of course select as many as possible. But of course Ergon itself is not really installed yet because they have some issue with the RAM issue, and after that everything. So my RAM is insufficient, so I'm not going to enable it. But of course when my RAM is here, I'm going to do an upgrade, and of course I'm going to start running the Ergon to basically start running all of the chain that is supported. And of course the Pocket network itself does not only support this few chain over here. This few chain itself is basically supported by DAppNode, that's why they are enabling it over here. And of course if let's say you want to do the normal way itself to install itself, the nodes that they can is basically you want to install, you can also install the Binance Smart Chain, Poly Network, and after that DFK DFK chain if I'm not wrong. So where do I get all of the data? Simple, I just head over to the Pocket network itself, just click on this, and after that look at the latest proposal that's happening, and after that just click on it, and of course just select their address and click on the view, go to home, and after that from there search the node ID. And once I have searched the node ID itself, I believe over here top main you see Binance Smart Chain has been the highest relayed. So over here you can see you can also install like Moon River, Polygon, Harmony Shard, and after that Gnosis Archive. Over here Moonbeam, DFK chain, Subnet, and after that many more chain that is basically supported over here. So we can see what they are running. So over here they are running almost all of this chain over here, quite a lot. Polygon fields, many more chain that is being ran on the network itself. But unfortunately on DAppNode itself they are not really supporting the Binance Smart Chain package, and after that the Polygon package, and of course DFK chain package also not supported, Harmony not supported, Moonbeam not supported, Phantom also not supported. So whatever we can do on the web itself is only these chains over here, Avalanche, Ethereum, Ethereum testnet, Ethereum testnet, Ethereum testnet, and of course Gnosis main chain, mainnet chain, the XDAI, and after that from there another Ethereum chain itself. So over here, I would say the the support of this itself is sufficient, and after that from there earning quite decent amount. So what do I mean by quite decent amount? Basically for my case itself, it is quite decent honestly. And after that here, so over here we can see that I'm earning like running for almost, I would say, six days or plus, 6 days plus minus. I've already generated like maybe almost 7 Pokt, and after that I would say it's quite decent, to be honest. Looking at the reward ratio itself, looking at the price of this Pokt token, and after that whatever I'm generating, it is quite decent honestly. And after that I still have pending release that is ongoing. So what you need to do over here is to basically set this up, and after that let your validator run for 24 hours, 7 days itself, to avoid jail time or whatsoever. Do not run two validator on 2 different devices using the same key store file itself, because your validator might get slashed. Basically the slashing itself is almost 99%. You can lose all of your funds from my understanding. And after that from that jail itself, if let's say your nodes itself is suddenly offline for like maybe 2 or 3 days, you might get jail. And after that the jail time itself is around 7 days. So I would say if let's say you want to run this itself, make sure your device and internet system is set up properly before you run this. And of course with DAppNode itself is as good as simple. No UI is no command line is needed. Just click on a few buttons, and after that do the requirement like sending the key store file, the JSON file, whatsoever, onto the DAppNode, and after that from there just let it run, sync, and everything you need to do is, most of the time you're doing is waiting. And once you have completed it, just take the required amount, 15.1k worth of this Pokt token, and after that from there you can run the other chain to get singing. And after that from there I would say the more chain that you have, the more probability that it will get a hit. And after, what do I mean by a hit itself, we can see that this over here, so over here from this over here you can see there's a pending relay. So if let's say you run most of the chain itself, hopefully you will get hit for a relay. And after that, when you get hit for a relay, the amount of relay is going to happen, it will be over here as shown. And of course this over here is totally depending on the demand. So over here, if let's say that a lot of people are, we know that Ethereum itself is a lot of developers on it, a lot of use cases. That's why there's going to be a huge and a lot of relays happening on Ethereum itself. And of course for Binance Smart Chain itself is also a famous chain. And of course I would say that there's a lot of developers and basically protocol that's running on it. And after that from there, relays are needed. So unfortunately we can't really run the Binance Smart Chain relay over here. And of course Polygon as well. I believe these are the main few smart chain that is very popularized. And after that from there, most of the relays I believe comes from Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, and after that maybe Polygon or Phantom. I mean like there's DApp running on it. And after that from there, all of this chain itself is providing lots of relays. So you might want to install all of it in order to get a hit. And after that, when you get a hit itself, you will get rewarded. But of course this over here is not really certain, but of course I do not know how they choose to relay. But of course if let's say you are running the node itself, and after that you have all the chains being installed and the required amounts being staked, rest assured you will surely see some numbers. And after that you will definitely generate some passive income through this validator itself. So I've come to the end of the video. If you really like the video, kindly leave a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and turn on post notification, and I'm gonna see you on the next one. Bye bye, peace.